Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Business and Economic, Universitas Islam Indonesia, Johan Arifin, SEMSI, PhD.
The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economics and Muamalat, University Saint Islam Malaysia, Khairil Faizal Khairi, PhD.
The Honorable Assistant Vice President for External Relations and Global Linkages of Mapua Malayan Colleges Laguna, James Ronald Opulencia Messina.
All the committees and participants of International Student Mobility International Business Sustainability Initiative 2023. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning. First of all, let us pray and praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing and mercy, we can meet virtually with healthy condition in the event of IBSI 2023. Before we start to lead this event, let me introduce myself and my partner as your Master of Ceremony. I'm Farel Nayotama Tribowo from Accounting Undergraduate Program Batch 2021, Faculty of Business and Economic, Universitas Islam Indonesia. And my partner Khairunida Yasmin from Management Undergraduate Program Batch 2021, Faculty of Business and Economic, Universitas Islam Indonesia.
Ladies and gentlemen, participants of ISM IBSI 2023, on this occasion, let me deliver the structure of International Student Mobility International Business Sustainability Initiative on Wednesday 20th, 2023 as follows. The first agenda is opening. The second agenda is singing Indonesia National Anthem. The third agenda is singing Hymn of Universitas Islam Indonesia. The fourth agenda is reciting the Holy Quran. The fifth agenda is welcoming speech from Chairman Committee of ISM IBSI 2023. The sixth agenda, welcoming speech from Dean of Faculty of Business and Economics, Universitas Islam Indonesia. The seventh agenda is welcoming speech from Dean of Faculty of Economics and Muamalat, University Saint Islam Malaysia. The eighth agenda is webinar with theme Digital Transformation for Sustainable Impact, Achieving SDGs in the Digital Age. The ninth agenda, break time. The 10th agenda, final presentation of essay competition. Before we move to the next session, I would like to ask the audience to turn on the camera for the documentation of the event this morning. For the audience, please turn on the camera and we will take the documentation. For the first slide, 1, 2, 3. For the second slide, 1, 2, 3. For the third slide, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you for participating in the documentation session.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us open this event with reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Before going any further, let me read several rules during this event. First, all participants are compulsory to turn on their camera. Second, all participants need to mute their microphone during the session. And the last one, participants can ask questions by clicking the raise hand feature and waiting for the moderator to allow you to speak, or participants can ask by typing it via the chat box. Okay, for the next agenda is singing the Indonesian National Anthem and Hymn Universitas Islam Indonesia.
The next agenda is reciting the Holy Quran by Muhammad Rizal Khoilus Sorry, student from Management Undergraduate Program, batch 2022. To Mr. Rizal, the screen is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَلِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله جميعا إن الله على كل شيء قدير ومن حيث خرجت فول وجهك شطر المسجد الحرام وإنه للحق من ربك وما الله بغافل عما تعملون وما الله بغافل عما تعملون صدق الله العظيم. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mr. Rizal who has recited the Quran beautifully. Now we invite Mr. Rizky Hamdani, MAKCA, as Chairman Committee of ISM IBSI 2023. To Mr. Rizky, time and screen is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Business and Economics, Universitas Islam Indonesia, Associate Professor John Arifin PhD, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Management and Muamalat, University Science Islam Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Khairil Faizal Khairi, the Honorable Vice Dean for Resource Management, Faculty of Business and Economics, Universitas Islam Indonesia, Mr. Abdul Moin PhD, the Honorable Vice Dean for Religious Students and Alumni Affairs, Faculty of Business and Economics, Universitas Islam Indonesia, Mr. Ahmad Tohirin PhD, the Honorable Head of Department and Head of the Undergraduate Study Program in Faculty of Business and Economics, Universitas Islam Indonesia, the Honorable Webinar Speakers, Associate Professor Khairil Faizal Khairi from University Science Islam Malaysia, Professor James Ronald Messina from Mapua Malay College Laguna, Philippines, and Professor Rifki Muhammad from Universitas Islam Indonesia, the Honorable all the judges, the Honorable the participants. Alhamdulillah, thanks God, we pray for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has bestowed pleasure and affection in any form, especially health and the opportunity to attend this international webinar and also essay and business plan competition. This year, the International Student Mobility activity was held for 2 days online using the Zoom platform on 20 to 21 December 2020. The International Business Sustainability Initiative, IBSI 2020-30, carries the theme Digital Transformation for Sustainable Impact, achieving SDGs in the digital age. Digital transformation is not just about technology, but also about how we can use the power of technology to achieve a sustainable impact. Digital transformation for sustainable impact is an approach that uses digital technology to advance and support achievement of sustainable development goals in digital era. SDGs are a series of global goals set by United Nations to achieve sustainable development by 2030. The application of digital transformation in the context of SDGs includes several key aspects such as technology-based innovation, digitalization of business processes, digital training and education, strategic partnership, social and environment impact, evaluation and accessibility, and also inclusivity. Along with the acceleration of digital revolution, Faculty of Business and Economics Universitas Islam Indonesia state in deep commitment to digital transformation as the key to achieving sustainable development goals in digital era. The Faculty of Business and Economics Universitas Islam Indonesia is proud to organize international student mobility activities to discuss and disseminate series of new business plans and related ideas, thoughts and opinions in the form of essays to strengthen digital transformation with the principle of sustainable development. The 2023 International Business Sustainability Initiative, organized by Faculty of Business and Economics UII, consists of 3 series of events, namely webinar, the second essay competition, and the third business plan competition. There were 12 teams selected as finalists to present their essays and business plan at IBSI 2020-30 Forum from Malaysia, the Philippines, and Indonesia. The universities are the Universitas Islam Indonesia, University Science Islam Malaysia, Mapua Malayan College Laguna, Philippines, and University Utara Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen and guests, in this international student mobility activity, we invite other universities as partners. At IBSI 2020-30, this time, 3 partner universities join as co-hosts, namely University Science Islam Malaysia, Malayan College Laguna, Philippines, and University Utara Malaysia. For this reason, we also express our deepest gratitude to the co-host university. As the organizer of this IBSI 2020-30, we would like to express our highest gratitude and appreciation in particular to university leaders, Faculty of Business and Economics, and department leaders at FBIUII. Webinar speaker, Associate Professor Hairil Faizal Khairi from University Sains Islam Malaysia, Professor James Ronald from Mapua, Malayan College Lagu Philippines, and also Professor Rifki Muhammad from Universitas Islam Indonesia. The judges, finalists, and moderators, dinner participants, and the organizer, and all parties who have worked hard to prepare this event. Finally, I congratulate you on joining the webinar and the finalists at the IBSI 2020-30. We have tried our best to prepare this event. However, on behalf of the committee, I apologize for any shortcoming and oversight. Hopefully, our activities for these 2 days are useful and blessed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Rizky for the speech. And now we invite Mr. Johan Arifin, SAMSI, PSD, as Dean of Faculty of Business and Economic, Universitas Islam Indonesia. And to Mr. Johan, time and screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, moderators. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala The Honorable Dr. Abdullah Muin and Dr. Ahmad Tahirin as Deputy Dean of Resources and Dean for Student Religious and Alumni Affairs and Faculty of Business and Economics of UII. The Honorable Professor Dr. Hairil Kahri, the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Muamalat, University Sains Islam Malaysia. The Honorable Professor James Ronald from Mapua Malayan College Laguna Philippines. The Honorable Professor Rifki Muhammad from Accounting Department of Universitas Islam Indonesia, Jakarta. Then the moderators and all happy webinar participants. First of all, let us always give thanks for the distance of Allah Ta'ala who has blessed all of us with health and this age so that morning we can participate in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, it can be genuine that digital transformation in government is a necessity. And the progress will continue. However, it is not enough to simply adopt digital technology. On the contrary, the technology must be utilized optimally to ensure sustainability and profit, both for the organization and society. To drive the continuous change process, it is critical to carefully select technologies that can improve business process, increase efficiency and productivity, and improve customer experience. The principles and the implementation of sustainability have a profound impact economy, and the digitalization itself can accelerate economic growth by creating new opportunities, jobs, and on the door to innovation and entrepreneurship. However, by adopting sustainable practices based on social responsibility and concern for the environment, organizations can not only drive economic growth, but also ensure its benefits are shared fairly across society and safeguard health and well-being in the long term. Additionally, sustainable practices will also ensure that organization, communities, government, and countries can continue to benefit from current and future digital innovation by adapting sustainable practices. Decision can reduce resource extinction, economic waste, environmental disaster, and social instability, thereby safeguarding their operations and general well-being of society. In connection with these matters, the Faculty of Business and Economics, Universitas Islam Indonesia, collaborated with Papua Malayan Laguna, Philippines, and then University Sains Islam Malaysia, USIM, and then University Utara Malaysia, organized the 2023 International Business Sustainability Initiative and webinar with the topic digital transformation for sustainable impact, achieving SDGs in the digital age. Finally, I would like to thank all those involved in this event, especially the speakers, include Associate Professor Khairul Faisal, Professor James Ronald, and Professor James Rifki Muhammad. Hopefully, this event will provide many benefits to all parties and fulfill that we expect together, as well as the supporters of this event, who I can mention one. We also apologize if there are shortcomings and errors in the implementation of this webinar. That's all. Thank you very much. Don't forget to be happy and good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Faisal Khairi, PhD, as Dean of Faculty of Economics and Muamalat, University Sains Islam Malaysia. To Mr. Khairil, time and screen is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to all of the who are in the online today. First of all, I would like to thank God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, give us the opportunities to gather today to attend what we call the very fruitful and beneficial program of International Student Mobility, International Business Sustainability Initiative, IBSI 2023, with the term on the digital transformation for sustainable impact, achieving SDGs in the digital age. First of all, I would like to thank the representative from the Faculty of Business and Economy, University Islam Indonesia, the Dean itself, Dr. Johan Arifin, SEMSI, PhD, CFRA, and also all the and others, what we call the representing from the FBE, UEE. And also together we have speakers, the colleague speakers from the Papua Malayan College, Laguna, Philippines, from Professor James Ronald O. Messina, and also Professor Rifki Muhammad, coming from the Universitas Islam Indonesia. First of all, also I would like to thank for organizing committee, especially from the University Islam Indonesia, who give us opportunities as partners, University Sains Islam Malaysia, to organize this event. I think this event have a huge benefits, especially from the students and also from the lecturers, because there's some sharing regarding the range on the webinar. Then we have also business canvas competition, which I believe that the what we call the cooperation among the student and also the lecturers will give benefit, especially today we're talking about the business sustainability. So maybe the idea from the student, I believe that when they present their business canvas and also some on competition, I think that's can give what we call the issues on the sustainability around the globe, which is I believe that the unique learning environments between the cultural Indonesia, Malaysia, maybe some of the participants from the other part of the country will benefit from this event. I think to bring together individual with the varied background, experience, and perspective will cultivate the not only about the academic excellence, but the other part we want to understand about how the different cultures and practice can be implemented in different sectors or different setting of the country. So as a result, we can see that maybe the idea from this what we call the webinar competition will give the globally minded leaders who can navigate the complexity of the modern business landscape today. So as mentioned by the Dean from the UIA, talking about the today's challenging on the what we call a lot of challenging with the uncertain situation. Okay, so I think that's the important. We have this kind of the webinar and also the competition on the behalf on the behalf of the Faculty of Economy and Muamalat, University Science Islam Malaysia. I really thanks for the organizing committee and also the partners from the UUM, University Science, University Utara Malaysia, Mapua, Nelayan Colleagues Laguna for organizing this event. Then hopefully we can plan for the future, maybe next year, to organize maybe the similar webinar or what called the conference for the benefit of our ummah. I think that's all from me. Thanks again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Agenda of today, namely Webinar Digital Transformation for Sustainable Impact, Achieving SDGs in the Digital Age. But before that, let me pass this forum to our great moderator, Miss Naila Ilma Kauna. She is Santri Unggulan Scholarship Awardee in Pesantren Universitas Islam Indonesia, batch 2022. To Miss Naila, the forum is all yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Again, welcome to everyone attending this prestigious international seminar. I am honored to be your moderator for today's enlightening session. My name is Naila and I will accompany you in the next few hours. But before that, I would like to express my gratitude to the Master of Ceremonies for steering us through this event and allowing me to have this opportunity. In today's seminar, we will delve into the theme, Digital Transformation for Sustainable Impact, Achieving SDGs in the Digital Age. Throughout our discussion, we will explore the transformative power of digital innovation and realizing sustainable development goals in our rapidly advancing area. With the aim of providing diverse insight, we are privileged to have three distinguished speakers who will each contribute to our understanding of the role of digital transformation in achieving sustainable impact. Their collective expertise will illuminate the multifaceted dimension of this crucial intersection of this topic. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to introduce our first speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Khairil Faizal Khairi. He is a seasoned academic and accomplished professional. Dr. Khairil Faizal Khairi holds a PhD in management from Macquarie University, Sydney, and brings a wealth of experience from his roles as an executive in RHB Bank Berhad to his current position as associate professor at University Science Islam Malaysia. As a current Dean of Faculty of Economics and Muamalat, Dr. Hairil has played pivotal roles in shaping both academic and administrative landscape. So please join me in extending a warm virtual welcome to Dr. Hairil Faizal Khairi. Assalamualaikum Dr. Hairil.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, how are you Dr. Hairil?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, we are so happy to have you here and can wait to hear and get valuable insight from you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today Dr. Hairil will bring us a very interesting topic with the title, Take Faith, Blockchain Infused Digital Transformation for Achieving SDGs with Islamic Social Finance. So, with no further ado, time and the screen is yours, Dr. Hairil.
Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to thanks again for the Mrs. Chairman for conducting these sessions. Thanks again for giving me opportunities to present on the what called to sharing. So basically to share some on the topic. I think this is a very interesting topic. We're talking about the SDGs. So this topic, I'll try to embed the technologies of blockchains. So as stated in this title, Tech Faith, Blockchain Infused Digital Transformation for Achieving SDG with Islamic Social Finance. Okay, so there's several topics to cover. I try to finish within 30 minutes. So first, we're talking about the digital transformation, what we understand about the digital transformation, which lead for the implementation of the technology in different sector of business. Particularly, we're talking about the Islamic social finance, which is comprising of the wakaf, zakat, sedekah, which is, I believe that the Islam have been championed in this sector. In some term, they use a gift economy. In some term, they use what we call the third sector economy. All right. Then we have I try to elaborate some on the fintechs, and so Islamic social finance, blockchain technology, and how the blockchain can accelerate the SDGs in the global setting. So I think we have familiar with this kind of the colors and also the 17 initiative by the UN. All right. So we are in the Anthropocenes, which means that the social vulnerability is in front of us. Okay, so late in 2020s, so there is a multiple compounding global risk. We're talking about the poverty, we're talking about the inequalities between the rich and poor people, between women and men, between the young generation with all generations. Today we're talking also about the climate change, so how the global warming happened, biodiversity loss, geopolitical conflict, economic and financial instability because of geopolitical instability. For example, in what happened in the Arab country now, Palestine with all the, and also some situation in Europe setting, Russia with their counterpart. COVID-19 is very interesting now. Is slightly is coming again. I think the Indonesia also have a significant increase numbers of COVID-19 lately. Also happened in Malaysia. I believe also in Philippines give a similar situation. So aging societies, so the what we call the population become older population. And also about the natural disaster. Yes, last few days we experienced several earthquakes in Indonesia. I think in Philippines, in Mindanao, I think have experienced slightly bigger in terms on the earthquake. So for that one, the SDG are specifically designed to engage company to tackle the world most pressing challenges from this series of the global current scenario. So as mentioned earlier, so SDG are a collection of 17 objectives set by the UN General Assembly in 2015, representing a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that our people are enjoy peace and prosperity. From this, what we call the objective of the SDG, so we can summarize that there is a 5 components that are targeted or what called the objective, main objective of the SDG itself. So they're looking for the people, end poverty and hunger in all form and ensure dignity and equality. We're talking about the planet, protect our planets on the natural resources and climate for future generation. We're talking about the prosperity to ensure prosperous and fulfilling life in harmony and nature, partnership, and also the peace. So this is the main objective of the SDG. So we believe that some on the component or majority of the component, we're talking about the Islamic social finance later, we can see that the impact of the Islamic social finance basically can fulfill the objective by the UN itself. Okay, so this is the some on the SDG represent on the transformation. We're talking about the transformation, but what part of the transformation we are looking at? So of course, we are looking on the digital transformation because today we live in the what we call the technological advancement of the generation. So not only about the technology itself, but in terms on the level of the awareness of the useness of the technology among the population also increase. That's why we need what we call the digital transformation on the tradition of the business, or what we call the doing on our day-to-day business. Okay, so this I just bring some on the definition. We're talking about digital transformation. So if you're looking on this one, we're talking about the why we need for the digital transformation. Of course, we need well-being and quality of life of society. We try to minimize the potential of the product harmful in order to fulfill the customer needs and generate employments. So again, we're talking about the benchmarking. What sort of the benchmarking we are looking at when we have what we call the digital transformation in the organization. So again, when we're talking about the benchmarking, we are looking at what we call the transparency, external auditing within the organization. Then again, when we said about the digital transformation, we need the organization itself need to changing according to the digital transformation. Okay, so this is others, I think definition. When we're talking about the digital transformation, they align with the SDGs. That we need to develop the policy, workplace culture, but also we need to respond with the climate change and the digital transformation. So the digital solution are important today. How we use the digital to make more efficient in our day-to-day operation, or what we call the daily operation of our business. Okay, so this is some definition also coming from the public sector. So if you're looking here, the sustainability in terms of the climate aim as well, digital transformation involve identifying technology needs and gap. So we need to understand what technology we want to implement in our business. So of course, when we say about technology, we need what we call the innovation. So which part of our current tradition of business need to innovate in order for us to implement the digital in our day-to-day of the business. About capacity building, of course, we need to change the landscape, the mindsetting, the education level of our employees to make sure that they are in line with the revolution of the technology. Then, of course, the technology development and also what we call the dissemination. Okay, so I think that's this is some on the how the digital transformation can leads to the GDP growth as accordance to the 2018 Global Connectivity Index. So we believe in 2000, they predict in 2025 the digital economy in the future equal to US 23 trillion as we compare on 2017. So of course, this is the technology that we are need to imbibe in our how we want to implement this kind of the technology on our current business. So this is basically the idea, how we make a digital transformation in our current business of our daily or our business practices. So we need to have what we call the broadband data center. Today we're talking about the big data, the cloud where we storage our data. So IoT is a growing popularity now, and also what we're talking about the AI. So I think that's the among the student, the AI technique or the AI tool is very popular today. We're talking about the Chat GPT, Jenny, whatever, all the instrument, which is basically is coming from the idea what we call the AI technology. Okay, so this is about the sum on the how the foundation we need to as mentioned earlier, several what we call foundation need to be established in term on the in term on the broadband itself, in the infrastructure, in term on the skill, payment, logistic, and also about the digital policy, regulation, and digital ID. So that's why we can, after we have the good foundation on the digital economy, then we have the company will start to what we call the digital economy, including digital entrepreneurs, e-commerce, fintech, ICT sectors. I think all the sectors can be beneficial from this kind of the developments of the technology. Today we're talking about industrial revolution. So current we are in the IR 4.0 revolution, which is totally based on what we call the AI technology or IoT based of enabled technologies. Okay, so this is about the when we said about the financial, what kind of innovation we are looking at. So this the term is coming when we're talking about the financial technology. So again, so we see here that when we're talking about the financial technology, is a innovative business model. So the keyword here is about the innovative, how we innovate in terms on a current business model we have. Then with the innovative of the business, then we want to emerge with the technology, which is the technology that we need to embed from the current business in order for us to compete with the technology business outside from our company. So innovation in the financial services that cause disruption. So of course, whatever technology coming, so we believe that will cause the disruption, especially we're talking about the financial system or whatever business in medical, in what we call manufacturing, when the technology is coming, so disruption is coming because of the technology will replace some of the function of the human itself. Okay, so that's why there is a positive correlation between the when we say about the innovation in our financial system, whatever, then will lead to the what we call the disruption in other part of the business. Okay, so this is some on definition. We're talking about the fintechs on the how the speed of the technology can change the technology into the business process activity. Digital disruption can be about the game-changing technology and also the impact on the small accumulative changes. So as mentioned, so that when we embed with the technology, so the technology itself will disrupt some on the part of the traditional business of the company, of the individuals. Okay, so this is some on the definition. I don't go to the detail on this one. So it's about how the digital can embed in the financial system. Today we're talking about the what we call the Islamic social finance. Then I tried to bring some of the idea related to the what called the technology on the blockchain. So of course there's a huge of the technology that we can embed in the current business or whatever. So for example, here we see that about the crowdfunding, insurtech, robo advisory, AI technology. So there's a huge of the technology that we can embed in the current business or what we call in the fintech business. Okay, so this is the fintech frameworks. So we see that from here. So we're interested on this one, the enabling technologies. We're talking about the digital transformation, how this kind of the technology basically can change the business, the current business of the the financial institution. So AI, we're talking about the machine learning, data and analytical big data. We have a what we call distributed ledger on the blockchain. This is what I'm trying to focus today. We're talking about the crypto, on the security, and also the cloud. Then we see on the middle. On the middle is basically the product of the what we want to transform from the traditional to the what we call to the new form of the business, what we call the fintech business. So then our focus today is on the social finance. We're talking about the wakaf, zakat, and sedekah, which I believe that this sector is one on the sector. I believe that we need to bring back the what we call the successful of the Muslim when the earlier stages, for example, on the Khalifa or what we call the Khalifa, I forgot the name, Khalifa, which at that time they used the zakat fund and wakaf fund to solve the issue on the poverty at that particular periods. Okay, so this is the customer and also the enablers. I'm not going to explain all this detail. Okay, so the fintech. When we say about the fintech, we not change the system, but what we offer the financial product and services, new process, new business model, and also use of the technology. Okay, so this is what what the benefit from the fintech when we implement on the what we call the current business of the social finance. So why now? I believe that the COVID-19, the numbers of penetration of the using on the mobile and also online banking is increasing with the significant numbers, which lead the people move from the traditional, then they start to using the technological based instrument like the mobile phones, internet, whatever. So against the other part, that's why that when we're talking about the COVID-19, so this maybe the COVID-19 maybe have a what we call disadvantage, but in term on the other parts, we see here that it boosts the fintechs in Malaysia, and also I think there's some on the part of the world also benefit from the COVID-19. Okay, so we're looking on the consumer trend. Now people are looking for the simplification, transparency, analytic, and reduce friction. So that's why the fintechs is start to popularity among the company to implement. Especially we're looking later on the Islamic social finance. Okay, so I go to on the Islamic social finance. So Islamic social finance is a unique financial system roots in the Islamic principle, emphasizing on ethical and social consideration. We're talking about the social because we manage the social fund. So that's why we need ethical and social. Then later, how the blockchain can try to minimize the issue on the ethical and social consideration. Okay, so the component, we believe that the zakat, wakaf, and sedekah is the main component in the social finance instrument, where the objective, we believe, we're talking about the social welfare, enhancing the well-being of the community and individual, poverty alleviation, addressing economic disparity through zakat and charity, sustainable development, supporting project for long-term community growth, which we believe that when we're talking about the Islamic social finance, in line with the SDG that I have present at the early stage of our discussion, we're talking about the SDG development, social development goals, and when we in line with the Islamic social finance, of course, the objective between the Islamic social finance and SDG is in line. So that's why we need to start to boost this kind of the sector in order for us to cultivate, to boost the participation from the public or the federal governments to boost this kind of the what we call the benefit for the sustainable of the community and the business. So example, we are doing funding, establishing the clinic and hospital, economic empowerment, supporting small businesses through interest-free loan, which is called Rul Hasan. So I think this is how the beautiful of the Islamic social finance that in line with the topic, our topic today, we're talking about the SDG. Okay, so this is some on the, I'm looking from the some of the news related to the potential, how the potential of this kind of the instrument, Islamic social finance. So 1 trillion can be collected in zakat. This is Malaysia. I believe that Indonesia is much bigger Muslim community than the numbers of what we call the collection of zakat wakaf should be more when we aggressively to promoting this kind of the instrument. Okay, so we're looking how the blockchain. So of course, this lead on the some on the beneficial of the blockchain. So one on the element we're talking about the traceability and also transparency. We're talking about the blockchain. The gist of the blockchain itself is about the traceability and also the transparency, which is later I'll show some on the explanation about the blockchains. Okay, so this is common challenge. So because the current manual process on the Islamic social finance wakaf zakat still on the traditional on the manual process, the rate of digital automation technology adoption still lower among the expertise and also the practitioner in Malaysia. Information asymmetry, limited data on the beneficiary profile, including financial aid, which delay verification and onboarding. Siloed ecosystem, each platform operate in own bubble, limited operation efficiency and cost scale benefit. So that's why we try to embed some on the technology. With this, my today topic, I try to bring to all the participants today how the blockchain can transform this challenging to benefit of these sectors. Okay, so this is what we call the how the blockchain technology. So Islamic social finance, digital economy offer opportunity for Muslim. Because of the when we're talking about the digital transformation, we are looking at the transparency, trust, and confidence in our financial system. So the data support by the PwC survey among the 600 executives from the 15 territories, 80% mentioned the organization involved heavily with blockchain technology. So because why or because then blockchain technology can offer transparency and traceability. So that is expected also the 3 trillion by 23, which is equal 10 to 20% of the global economic infrastructure will be running on the blockchain-based system. So that's why the Islamic social finance, which is zakaf, sedekah, what I call the zakat, has benefited from the blockchain technology because the blockchain provide the peer-to-peer system of transaction, which based on the fully distributed system by autonomous process. So the beautiful of the blockchain when we're talking about the peer-to-peer, I give the simple example. With the technology of the blockchain, for example, we have what we call the campaign sedekah. For example, we want to build up the mosque. For example, we're looking the fund from the public. So for the current practice, for example, if I donate, for example, 100 ringgit for this fund, I cannot monitor whether my fund will distribute on what part of the activities. But with the technology blockchain, we're talking about the peer-to-peer system. So I will trace all my 100 ringgit to which project or whatever activities related to the mosque development. Okay, so this is how the when we say about the peer-to-peer of the transaction. Okay, so impact, so we can improve the capital optimization. Maybe from previously we use on the rely on the paper base. Now with the digitalization, we can save a lot of the capital. Transactional transparency, so as mentioned, so build a blockchain, provide wakaf sector more transparent. User are performing activity in public ledger, can expose inefficiency like fraud, leading problem solving that reduce the risk. Blockchain secure the term characteristic with Nebula impossible. So the current technology, so the blockchain is impossible to alter or to alternate if we compare with today. We using a database. So the technology blockchain is quite difficult to what we call to impossible to alter to changing the data when we incorporate the blockchain in our transaction. Okay, in terms of the social development, so of course because we can monitor all the transaction from our donors, so we can so the collaborative between the wakif payers owners on the management of wakaf under single roof, so help in monitoring and managing of the asset. for the recipient, whatever. Okay, so this is about the technology blockchain. So the technology blockchain is not only about the social finance, but now they are diverse in terms of the legal, supply chain, government, energy, food, retail, healthcare, insurance, because the technology blockchain offers the new tool of authentication and authorization in the digital world that preclude the need for many centralized administrators. So as a result, it enables the creation of new digital relationship. So this is some on the benefit. I'm not to go detail. We're talking about the decentralized. So with the technology of the blockchain, we don't need what we call the central who control everything. So we eliminate the function of the intermediaries, where the fund we can monitor directly from the donors to the recipient or to the management of the fund. Distributed ledger, so we eliminate the delay on the costing, data, consistency, immutable. So I mentioned, so the blockchain technology is quite difficult to temper. So that's why that will increase the confidence from the public. So of course, when we implement in the Islamic social finance, wakaf, zakat, sadaqah, so we can increase the confidence of public, and the public will become more confident to make more donation to our projects. So more transparent, increase auditability in trust, because all the transaction in the blockchain is a live or real-time transaction, right? So this is because we have what we call to embed with the smart contract, which is automated business process in trusted way, representing of any asset digitally. Okay, so this is some on the data. I'm not to go detail on this one. So some on the how the technology blockchain. So the last one is talking about the technology most likely to change the next decade of business. It's not the social, big data, cloud roboting, or even AI. It is the blockchain. So that's why I try to bring the idea on the blockchain in whatever setting of the business. So this is from the Harvard Business Review on 2016. Okay, so the others, we're showing that the numbers of using on the technology blockchain will increase from year to year. So in Malaysia, so we have what we call the Malaysian socio-economic drivers on the 10 sectors. We have energy, business, financial services. Our focus on the social finance and the business and financial services. I'm talking about the cultural, medical, smart cities, water, agriculture, education, environment. So the most interesting here, so we're talking about the technology of the blockchain. So we're looking here, the technology of the blockchain is one on the key enablers technology that will implement in 10 sectors of the economy in Malaysia. So this is the plan under what we call the MySDIA framework, which we're talking about to how we driving the fundamental and translation into the to run the socio-economic in Malaysia. So one on the key technology enablers is a blockchain. So that's why I try to bring the idea on the blockchain and try to show you how the blockchain can promoting the SDGs in what we call in line with the UN nation promise or objective. Okay, so this is the system, basically the idea on the how the blockchain technology, which is this is the front end of the technology blockchain, and the back end we connect the front end with back end of the technology blockchain. We use what we call the blockchain API. So the API we reads all the data from the payment gateway, because the payment gateway is the transaction of the fund that we need to let inform to our donors what the how we use the fund of the public fund from the different activities of the social, financial, either for the education, for the community, for the government infrastructure, and so on. Okay, so you see here, the wakaf benefit from the technology. So to peer-to-peer, so from this system, so what we have, so to ensure the transparency, reliability, traceability, from the wakaf, zakat, sedekah transaction, from the wakif who contribute the wakaf, zakat payer, donors, to Majlis Agama Islam negeri or whatever institution. For example, in Malaysia, I think also in Indonesia, we have an organization who do a collection on this fund, to the Mawkuf Alai, to the zakat recipient, and thus we can promote that the product is a Sharia compliant product. And also we integrate with the contract, so at the end we can increase the corporate governance practice in Islamic social finance organization, which I believe that some on the argument said that the Muslim organization or Muslim institution is low in terms on the corporate governance. But with the implementation of the blockchain, I believe that we can uplift the corporate governance practice in the Islamic social finance organization. So this is the idea on the, we're talking about the how we control on the Sharia, on the traceability, how we control the traceability on the Islamic social fund, in terms on the transparent and also the real-time transaction. So this is how the beautiful of the blockchain technology. So of course, with this kind of the what we call the blockchain in the Islamic social finance goal are directly in line with the 4 sustainable SDGs, which include the SDG 1, SDG 2, SDG 3, and SDG 4. So talking about the one is on no poverty. So I mentioned on the objective of the social finance itself, how the objective of Islamic social finance is to eradicate the poverty level in the country. So the SDG 2, we're talking about the zero hunger. So with the fund from the Islamic Social Fund, with the technology blockchain, I think can the public confidence can increase. More fund will be distributed to this kind of the people for the zero hunger. SDG 3, we're talking about the good health and well-being. So we can build up the clinic, hospital, infrastructure for the community without waiting from the government fund, for example, in the small community, and also about the SDG 4, about the quality education with the social fund, wakaf, zakat, whatever we can pay for the student fees. Maybe student can go through the education without paying any single money when we promoting the blockchain in the what we call the social finance. So MyC blockchain also support SDG 9 on the sub SDG 9.5, emphasis on the report and upgrading the technological capacities in the industrial sectors. So as a result, MySafe blockchain adoption in Malaysia, Islamic social finance indicate SDG can be achieved and we benefited by all stakeholders. Okay, so this is some on the SDG. I just
Mr.
go through
Hairil,
about the data. Yeah.
we only have 5 minutes left.
Okay,
So yeah,
I
you can
finish.
continue.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
this is the sum on the data about the poverty level. So I'm just show you about the data on the poverty level. So 2030 about the resources. So how the important, so we need to have mobilize the resources from the variety sources. So that's why the Islamic social finance is coming to solve on the issue on the poverty. Okay, so this some of the example I bring. I not to bring all the SDG. So about the zero hunger, the poor people is now vulnerable situation, including the infant to safe nutrition. So against the Islamic social finance with the impact of the technology blockchain can increase the confidence to public to donate more because whatever transaction, let's say I give 100 ringgit to this project. For example, I give the hunger people in Nilai, for example, in Malaysia, in Usin. So I can track this money to that who can receive my money 100 ringgit for this kind of the activities. So this is how the blockchain can help. Okay, so this is some on the how the technology blockchain. So I show you this is the hyperledger with the ID. So the ID we can give to the donors to track from the system. What we call the hyperledger technique we use. So the last one. So this is my last slide. So SDG brought goal and target up to the national and state government to identify priorities, decide appropriate locally relevant policy, harness innovation, and ensure that an implementation and monitoring is in place. Only then we have any chance in ensuring that the S in the SDG also stand for the successful. Okay, for that I thank you. Sorry to take some on the my time to other speakers. Okay,
Okay.
so thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Hairil, for your enlightening insight. It was very compound and comprehensive presentation, very amazing. A little summary from Mr. Hairil presentation is that we are actually facing a social vulnerability and multiple compounding global risks. In this case, digital transformation can help to foster the sustainability movement, and also how Islamic financial technology played a significant role in tackling the sustainable issue, illustrated by how blockchain projection for Islamic finance. So since Mr. Khairil have very limited time to be with us today, we will directly open to the Q&A session, but only for one question. So anyone here, please feel free to type your question on the chat, or you can also raise your hand to directly ask to Mr. Khairil. The first. Okay, this is the one and only will ask. Husna Aulia, you can open your microphone and directly ask to Mr. Khairil. Time is yours, Husna.
Based on the slides on the presentation, I want to ask about how can blockchain technology be harnessed to create a more sustainable digital transformation, promoting environmental responsibility and ethical practice throughout the process.
Okay, enough, Husna?
Okay. Can you repeat again?
Okay. How can blockchain technology be harnessed to create a more sustainable digital transformation, promoting environmental responsibility and ethical practice throughout the process?
All right. So thank you for Husna on your question. So I think that's one on the what we call the important aspect when we're talking about the ethical issue when we're talking about the blockchain technology, how we resolve on the ethical issues related to we focus on the Islamic social finance. Okay, so when we're talking about the blockchain itself, so under the process of the blockchain, we have what we call the smart contracts. So smart contract is basically the manual contract of the agreement. So for example, we in the traditional, we have what we call the muamalat contract. If you're looking from the financing, for example, all the detailed information related to the product need to embed in the manual contract of the product financing, whatever. But in the blockchain, because we're using the technology, so the smart contract will taking place of the function of the manual documentation of the transaction. So that's why all the information related, all the process, all the standard of the procedure SOP, we need to embed in the smart contract in the blockchain technology. So for that, we can reduce the issue on the ethical, on the non-compliant activities, non-Sharia activities in the transaction of the product. So this is my comment, Husna.
Thank you so much. Is that answering, Husna? I think that's enough. So this is also will be the one and only question in this session. We would like to thank Mr. Khairil once again so much for giving us a very valuable insight and being here with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Khairil.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we are going to move to the next session. Our intellectual journey continues with our next distinguished speaker. I'm very delighted to introduce the second speaker, Mr. James Ronald Opulencia Messina, the Assistant Vice President for External Relations and Global Linkage of Mapua Malayan Colleges Laguna in the Philippines. Mr. James is a distinguished academician and leader with a bachelor's in political science from the University of Santo Tomas and a master's in political science from Ateneo de Manila University. Mr. James brings over 2 decades of academic experience, and his current role involves strategizing and implementing programs to globalize education and promote sustainable development goals. Again, please join me in extending warm virtual welcome to Mr. James Ronald Opulencia Messina. Good morning, Mr. James.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for the introduction. And peace be upon us all, to our friends in Indonesia and our students from Mapua Malayan Colleges, Laguna. So give me a second to share my screen.
Okay. Okay. Okay, time is yours, Prof. James.
Yeah. I would like to thank the first speaker for making my job easier this morning to share about digitalizing sustainable development goals for non-digital impacts. So our first session is more of a technical discussion about how blockchain technology can actually support the efforts to meet the sustainable development goals by 2030. So my assumption here and expectation is that our students from Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines are already informed about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and have basic understanding of what the SDGs are all about. And with that premise, you will be seeing a quite conflicting or contradictory concepts in my title. So the fundamental question that you might want to ask is, how can digitalization of SDGs produce non-digital impacts? And I would like everyone to sustain that question because we will be answering all those as we go along. So we are from the Philippines, and we are very happy to be joining Universitas Islam Indonesia in this global discussion about the Sustainable Development Goals, because we do believe that every country, every citizen must be a global citizen who has something to share, who has something to speak about the Sustainable Development Goals. So as this presentation goes on, let us convert this into a marketplace of ideas and efforts on how we can advance the Sustainable Development Goals. My challenge for our students here is for you to come up with meaningful research topics or research projects that are aligned to Sustainable Development Goals. I was telling my students during the previous semester that for you to come up with a good thesis or research topic, you try to revisit the Sustainable Development Goals. Why? Because these are all solutions. And we all know that every solution came up with a problem, and that problem will be the starting point of every research project. So my discussion about digital transformation and the SDGs is actually aligned and a review of existing frameworks of the United Nations that materialize the connection between the two concepts, digital transformation and the Sustainable Development Goals. In January 2022, the United Nations has recognized the significant role of digital transformation in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And various UN agencies and reports highlight the potential of digital technologies in addressing global challenges and promoting sustainable development. We all know the history of sustainable development as a concept. It was a product of the Brundtland Commission, which was in the 1980s. And we might ask ourselves, if the concept of sustainable development came up in the 1980s, why is it now that we are talking still about sustainable development and its goals? That is an interesting question. And we all know that SDG came from MDG, or the Millennium Development Goals, and the targets have been moving from time to time. And the follow-up question would be, if the target and the timeline keep on moving, are we really progressing on attaining the Sustainable Development Goals? The answer would be digital transformation and technology. We all know that what we have now are really advanced compared to what the world has in the 1980s and the 1990s. So in my personal opinion, I would say that the delay in the achievement of the SDGs is actually attributed or attributable to the delay also in the advancement of technology. Pardon if my answer is within the context of digital transformation, because that I would like to emphasize that DT or digital transformation is indeed a vehicle that will support the SDGs. So these are some of the reports and frameworks that highlight the important role of digital transformation in the attainment of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. First is the Secretary General's Roadmap for Digital Cooperation, the UNDP Digital Strategy, UNESCO's role in digital transformation, the ITU and the Broadband Commission, UN Economic Commission for Africa, UNESCO Broadband Commission's target for 2030, and the UNESCO Internet Universality Indicator. So all these 7 documents emphasize the need for digital transformation to support the Sustainable Development Goals. So in the Digital Cooperation Roadmap of the United Nations Secretary General, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres emphasized that the roadmap for digital cooperation must be people-centered, inclusive, and transparent digital future that contributes to the achievement of the SDGs. So you might be asking why I have chosen these 2 photos to emphasize the digital cooperation roadmap of the UN. Can somebody from our audience have a guess of what is the keyword for the 2 photos that we have here in our slide? Can you give me a keyword aside from digital transformation? Unfortunately, I'm not seeing the comments. So can I ask the moderator to read if we have chats? Any
Sorry?
guess? Any guess on the keyword of the 2 photos from our audience?
I'm sorry, any guess from?
From our audience, from our participants. Do they give an answer as to what could be the keyword for these 2 photos? None.
Oh, okay. Okay, keyword from these 2 photos?
Yeah. Maybe our participants can answer, can
Okay.
give their guess or their
Yeah.
answer.
Okay, so you can give any keyword for these 2 pictures, maybe through chat box.
Yeah, please.
What you can infer from the picture,
Yeah.
you can
Are there takers?
read. Yeah.
We have no takers. I'll tell the answer.
Okay,
Oh, we
there
have
are some answer in the chat box.
innovation. Innovation, I would say it's 75% correct. Globalization from Ashley, 60% correct. So Ken, Iya, and Ashley, you can get your prize here in the Philippines. For our Indonesian friends, do we have any taker from Indonesia? I'll give you your prize when I go there in March. Okay, digitalization, globalization, innovation. All of these keywords are directly aligned to the keyword, the main keyword that represents these two photos. And what is that? Take note of this. It's citizen science. I will type it in the chat box. It's citizen science. Okay? So if you try to search the term in Google, you will find other terms associated to it, like crowd science, crowdsourcing, and other similar concepts. The idea is for a specific goal or target to be achieved, we need the support of people. We need the participation of locals so that they can partake in several activities aligned to the attainment of the goals. So, for example, these two photos, as I mentioned, are related to citizen science. In the Philippines, one of the most recent disasters that hit us was the Taal volcano eruption in January 12, 2020, several days before the COVID pandemic came in. And we were all shocked about the Taal volcano eruption. We were forced to evacuate many communities from the 10-kilometer danger zone of the volcano. And it was only at the time that we realized that the permanent danger zone has been there for at least 5 decades. So for 50 years, it was already a permanent danger zone. But why are there people living in the communities? And there are a lot of answers to that question. It could be a political answer wherein governance failed to implement the permanent danger zone. That's why people managed to still settle in the outskirts of the volcano within the permanent danger zone. Others would be answering the question using the lens of economics. People have livelihood in that particular area. That's why they opted to stay. One would be socially inclined to answer the question by saying they do not want to be detached from their families who are living near the volcano. A variety of answers. But moving forward, the next question would be, how can we ensure the safety of the people living in the volcano? One of the strategies being floated by the University of the Philippines Resiliency Institute was the deployment of citizen science in solving local community problems, wherein local citizens will be tapped to monitor the activities in the community, to monitor the potential dangers and any other threats that the communities would face on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis. And how could that happen? We will be mobilizing people to monitor, to gather data in the community, and using their mobile phones, they will be sending it to the Resiliency Institute for analysis. And that is a very simple effort and a very simple example of how digital transformation, digitalization of a monitoring mechanism could actually help support the SDGs in so many aspects. It could be to advance the goal on climate action, gender equality, strong institutions and communities, and so on. Again, that is only a good example of how digital transformation can actually propel efforts to advance the Sustainable Development Goals. In a nutshell, the report of the Secretary General, specifically the roadmap for digital cooperation, emphasized these 8 areas or the 8 imperatives: universal connectivity, digital inclusion, digital public goods, artificial intelligence, digital human rights, digital trust and security, digital cooperation, digital capacity building. And obviously, the term digital has been used for at least 7 times in the imperatives for digital cooperation. And Earlier, our first speaker, my colleague, talks about blockchain. And definitely blockchain is one among the domains here that can actually support the digital cooperation roadmap of the United Nations. Trivia, 66% of company chief executive officers say that digital transformation is a significant enabler of their sustainability strategy. They actively seek opportunities from digitization to improve sustainability performance and discover more sustainable business models. In the Philippines, if I may share, all corporations are enjoined by the national government to take sustainability reporting seriously. Meaning to say, private companies are given the responsibility to give annual reports that cover sustainability areas. And digital transformation supports that particular policy of the government because it makes data gathering, analysis, and reporting easier for companies and also making the reports more accurate. Second is the UNDP, United Nations Development Program Digital Strategy. The UNDP's digital strategy focuses on leveraging technology for development, including the SDGs with an emphasis on leaving no one behind. This is an international student mobility program. We are on December 20, 2023. Imagine 20 years ago for a student to be able to participate in a student mobility program, he must have money. He or she must have money to buy for an airplane ticket going to Jakarta, Indonesia, and attend the student mobility program. Why? Because 20 years ago, it is the only mode of student mobility activity. Fast forward 20 years after, we can actually serve the purpose of the student mobility program without going cross-border, without going out of our countries. Why? Because the objective of the student mobility program is to have exchange of lessons, best practices, ideas, knowledge about digital transformation and achieving the sustainable development goals. So if that is the intent and purpose of student mobility program, we can do it online, which is also facilitated and enabled by digital transformation. Whenever whenever we prohibit people to participate in a specific program or activity, we are obviously leaving some people behind. So with digital transformation and technology, we are making learning, we are making sharing of best practices more inclusive to the different sectors of the society. In the study of Hassani in 2022, the Professor Hassani mapped the relevant UN SDGs and the specific activities and the processes that can be done both at the local, national, and even global levels. So I will read the two, for example, on sustainable production, smart manufacturing, product life cycle management, logistics, and circular economy. Whenever companies or firms try to digitalize these activities, they are actually addressing no poverty, which is SDG number 1, decent work and economic growth, or SDG number 8, industry innovation in infrastructure, SDG number 9, responsible consumption and production, which is SDG number 12. So traditional ideas about digital transformation have said that machines will replace people in the companies, in the manufacturing sector. But we are saying here that digital transformation would actually boost our SDG efforts to reduce poverty. Last year, Microsoft, in one of the workshop sessions, emphasized that it is really true that because of digital transformation, over 70 million jobs were lost. Take note of that. Because of digital transformation, more than 70 million jobs were lost. But because of digital transformation also, more than 100 new jobs were created. And that is what we meant by how digital transformation could actually support the UN SDGs in having a more sustainable global environment. Second is on smart construction, building management and maintenance, and prescriptive maintenance. These processes are actually addressing SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG 9, industry innovation and infrastructure, SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. So those are only examples of how digital strategies of the United Nations Development Program are actually aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals. I got this from the internet. What is the impact or the 6 impacts of digital revolution on society? One is improved education. Second is increased social and civic engagement, technological innovation and sustainability, enhanced healthcare, economic empowerment and digital inclusion, increased access to information, communication, and connectivity. Those 6 items are self-explanatory. I would like to highlight just a few examples. For example, in number 4, enhanced healthcare. Gone were the days that you need to go to the doctor to personally see the doctor to get a medicine prescription, because you can do telemedicine, you can do teleconsult, and many other processes that are enabled through digital transformation. Improve education, for example. For the longest time, the Asian Development Bank have been emphasizing the importance of e-learning. The first study that I saw about e-learning was dated 1998, and that was published by Asian Development Bank. But e-learning in the Philippines, for example, only gained prominence in around 2008 or 2009. And the peak of e-learning actually happened only in the pandemic, when all people had that mindset that we really need to make education work and learning to continue during the pandemic. That's why many universities and colleges invested in learning management systems so that learning will continue during the pandemic when all schools are on lockdown. That is an example of improved education because of digital revolution and digital transformation. So, the other one is UNESCO's role in digital transformation. UNESCO, or the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, emphasized the importance of digital skills and literacy in achieving the SDGs. The organization works to ensure that all individuals have access to quality education and the necessary digital skills to participate in the digital age. So the last item here is digital transformation of education and research. And that actually propels quality education by making it more inclusive. Another one is on knowledge management. So gone were the days that we need to populate our libraries with physical books, because a lot of electronic resources are available that would make our resources, our collection, richer in our libraries and learning commons. ITU and Broadband Commission, the International Telecommunication Union, and the Broadband Commission of the United Nations advocate for the use of broadband and digital technologies to address development challenges. They highlight the role of digital infrastructure in achieving universal connectivity and fostering economic and social development. We have unfortunately, it took us one blow of the COVID-19 pandemic to realize that we need to give digital transformation a chance. Because during the pandemic, we were all forced to do digital banking, e-commerce, and it seems to us that those are only new inventions, but they have been existing for more than a decade now. It was only during the pandemic that we gave this chance to ourselves to acquire a new mindset on how we can give chance to digital transformation. We go to Africa. The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa emphasized the role of digital transformation in advancing economic growth and development in Africa. Digital technologies are seen as crucial for improving efficiency, promoting innovation, and addressing various socio-economic challenges that are encompassed in all SDGs. The keyword here is efficiency. I have said earlier that one of the reasons probably for the delay in the attainment of, or at least in progressing in the sustainable development goals was because of the delay also in the discovery of new technologies. Why? Because one of the benefits and the advantages of using modern technology, digitalized technology, is primarily on optimizing production, optimizing manufacturing, optimizing processes. And those are actually very beneficial not only to the companies by making profit, but also streamlining the procedures so that the services and the products will be available to people year-round. So that is a concept of efficiency. Now, the case of Africa would like to provide us a good framework to appreciate and analyze how global sustainable development goals will be cascaded. And that is what we mean by localizing the SDGs. The keyword here is local. What is global is local, and what is local is global. Meaning to say, global goals have domestic impacts. So if solutions to the problems are seen to be at the global level, it will not work if it will not be localized at the domestic level. So we need to answer the 4 questions: why, what, for whom, and how. SDGs can be reached only if local stakeholders participate not only in the implementation, but in the goal setting and in the planning stage. And it must go beyond the planning, but also on monitoring. What? Aiming at supporting LRGs and other stakeholders in implementing the SDGs at the local level, providing practical guidance to design appropriate policies and implement the same within the set targets and goals. For whom? We must do stakeholders analysis so that we can identify who will be the beneficiaries of all our efforts and initiatives. How? By setting the context, laying out the conceptual framework, presenting strategies and processes, and providing practical instruments, guidelines, and tools. In summary, the toolkit for localizing SDGs is more of program and project management from the planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation stage. And all these procedures can be easier if we are going to digitalize that. Earlier, I mentioned about the citizen science. It will be efficient, less costly, if we will be targeting the local stakeholders to be our collaborators, to be our partners in doing the monitoring and evaluation phase of program management. The UNESCO Broadband Commission's target for 2030 has set ambitious goals to ensure that everyone in the world has access to affordable quality broadband connectivity. Again, this particular commission was created on the belief that digital transformation will be one of the vehicles to support the Sustainable Development Goals. What are the ambitious targets? Whole of government and whole of ecosystem vision and strategy. I think I have 2 minutes. Sustainable financing strategy that contributes to the common good. Strengthen data literacy and skills at all levels of the education ecosystem. Use data to target education's enduring obstacles. Harness multilateralism, solidarity, and international cooperation. All of this will be fast-tracked because of digital transformation. Who are the targeted stakeholders? We have the government, we have the universities here, we have the communities, and we have private sector. And remember that SDG number 17 is about collaboration and partnership. And it is only through engaging these sectors in the planning and implementation, monitoring and evaluation that we can actually maximize the benefits of digital transformation in achieving the sustainable development goals. I'll skip this. In conclusion, here are the several ways in which digital transformation can contribute to the achievement of the SDGs. It provides data-driven decision making. What delays the planning and even the execution is the absence of enough data for us to for our actions to be guided. So if we have access to a full range of data, that is easier to be gathered because of digital transformation, we can execute our plans easier. Access to information and education, economic empowerment, collaboration and knowledge sharing, monitoring and accountability. You might be wondering why we were tapped by Universitas Islam Indonesia for this project. Your international office and I attended the Passage to ASEAN gathering last November in Da Nang, Vietnam. And that was a very meaningful discussion on how we can actually do mobility programs in online mode. And that is a form of collaboration and knowledge sharing. So that planning in November is now realized with this mobility program. Digital transformation offers significant opportunities. It also raises challenges such as issues related to digital divide, privacy concerns, and cybersecurity. Addressing these challenges is essential to harness the full potential of digital transformation in achieving the SDGs. So for the title of my presentation, what is the question again? What is the disconnect between digitalizing SDGs to produce non-digital impacts? I end the explanation with this quote. Digital transformation is not really about technology, but all about people, because at the end of the day, the people will remain to be the actors in our initiatives to support the SDGs. And at the end of the day, the people will be at the receiving end of our success stories on the Sustainable Development Goals. I got 31 minutes and 22 seconds. Sorry for the 1-minute extension. On behalf of Mapua Malayan Colleges Laguna, I would like to thank our partners, Universitas Islam Indonesia, for the invitation. And in response to the message of our chancellor earlier, yes, definitely we'll be willing to collaborate with other universities on the SDGs because collaboration is part of SDGs, specifically SDG 17. Thank you very much and mabuhay from the Philippines.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. James, for your enlightening insight and warm greetings from Mapua. It was very amazing presentation, complementing the previous presentation as well. Little summary through this presentation, Prof. James emphasized best practice and how to make this digital transformation more inclusive and improve the well-being of the people. It's also very important for every United Nations organization to participate and take their role in fostering this transformation and to make it more localized. So for ladies and gentlemen, for those who already prepared their question, hold on because we will open the Q&A session after the third speaker. So yeah, so please keep the question because we will directly jump to the third speaker. Once again, thank you so much, Professor James. And let's welcome our third speaker, Professor Rifki Muhammad, a distinguished academic and expert in accounting, especially in Sharia accounting. Prof. Rifki holds a bachelor in Universitas Islam Indonesia, and he further honed his expertise with master's and PhD in Islamic Banking and Finance from IIUM. Certified as a Sharia accountant, Sharia expert of capital market, and holder of Sharia supervisory certification, Prof. Rifki is a beacon of excellence. And currently, he holds a position as a head of undergraduate program in accounting at Universitas Islam Indonesia. Please join me together in extending warm virtual welcome to Professor Rifki Muhammad. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Rifki.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, the moderator.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, we are so happy to have you here, Prof. Rifki, and
Okay.
we can wait to listen to your presentation with the title Integrated Reporting from Islamic Perspective for Sustainable Business. So with no further ado, Prof. Rifki, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone, and hello for the Prof. James and also Prof. Hairil from Malaysia, also Philippines. They're joining in this session. It's a very nice presentation. And currently, I want to share regarding my expertise, and we can relate to the SDG regarding the integrated reporting, yeah, from Islamic perspective. And we hope that we can learn about how the this sorry, hold on. Okay, okay. The integrated reporting from Islamic perspective for the sustainable business. Actually, this topic I want to give you the highlight that reporting in currently situation is very important for, let's say, for the government and also the business, because when we see the reporting process, sometimes the people only concerned about the quantitative information rather than the qualitative information. When we link to the SDG, that the SDG try to focus on people, planet, and prosperity, we can say that it is also important when we see how the reporting from my basis knowledge in accounting, that when you see the accounting is very quantitative, very so many calculation and others. But when we see the development of reporting, the accounting perspective, actually is not only focus on the numbers, yeah, not only numbers, but the account actually try to develop the information not only from quantitative aspect, but also qualitative. What aspect of the qualitative? We can say that the qualitative aspect, we see also the impact of the business and also the government policy to the impact to the society. For, let's say, when the company exists in some place or some of the environment, how they can give benefit for the society, not only for the profit orientation. Sometimes we see that the company only have the profit orientation and try not to see the other impact for the environment, for the prosperity, and also the wealth of the environment. That's why in my presentation, I want to give you understanding about the fundamental principle of Islam, because when I try to learn about the accounting, actually it's not far away from Islam, because the accounting is near to the accountability. And we will see what is the objective of Sharia. Sharia is a law based on the Islam, and we have the own educational process from the Sharia. That's why want to link how the accounting can contribute not only for the business itself, not only for the government itself, but how the accounting uh, can give benefit for the people at large, and also the development of the country. But let's say when we see the previous presenter regarding the how the SDG can give benefit for the people, we can see also we need the report. We need the report of the business and also the government, because when we have no report from the government, also the business, we don't know how the process, how the business model, how the impact the business to the society. That's why I'm concerned about the report. Then we can see the development, not only the profit of the business, but importantly, the benefit for the society. That's why in Islam also we concern about how the business and the government, the people can give the benefit to the others. Then we go to the overview of how the Islamic economic system as the basis of the operation of the Islamic transaction, Islamic business model. Actually, the Islamic business model is not rely on only the religion, how our faith, but how our faith can benefit to the other. In our word called as rahmatan lil alamin, rahmatan lil alamin, how Islam can give a benefit to the others, not only in our own religion only, but another religion also. And what is the Sharia compliance of the financial activities? Maybe Prof. Hairil has explained about the blockchain and then how the impact of the Islamic social finance, I think, is a part of the Sharia compliance in Islamic social finance. I think it's also I discussed almost the same matters in this presentation. And then what is the element that not approved under Islam? And the important thing I want to share with you about the Maqasid Sharia as an Islamic ethical value that can derive so many value that reporting is also important, because when we understand the Maqasid Sharia, then we can set some of the information that important to share to the public through the financial report and also the annual report. And then I want to share about the integrated reporting from Islamic perspective. When we hear about the integrated reporting, integrated means that we try to combine the information that important to the society, not only the business and the society. For, let's say, how is the social responsibility of the company? How is the government policy? How is the government policy, and what is the goal of the government policy, the impact to the public? It is important to write and also share, socialize to the people. Then people understand what the government and also the company do. It is the fundamental principle of Islam. Islam is literally means peace and obedience. That adds from Islam to be obedient to the God, and appreciate the purpose of the existence in this world. Meaning that Islam is concerned about the existence of the people, and we can also imagine that the company also same. If Islam concerns the people, the existence in the world, so company has to also concern the existence in the world. The existence in the world is not only for themselves, but others. And Muslim consider as human to be vice-children of the God, the vice-children of the God. Meaning that Muslim have the role as Muslim has a role to have the benefit of the other people. It's a leader. It is a leader in the world. That's why the worldview of Islam encompasses both the worldly aspect, also religious aspect. And everything Islam is ultimately focused on religious aspect, being unmindful of the worldly aspect. Meaning that Islam tries to balance the worldly matter and also the after world matter, the religious aspect. Therefore, the main objective of the Muslim is to achieve falah. We call as falah. What is the falah? Falah means that the success in the world and also hereafter. Now, we are not thinking about what happened in the world only, but we see that we hope that we can get the benefit in the hereafter also. And what is the objective of Sharia? Sharia is the law under Islam. It's to promote the welfare for the people, which lies in the safeguarding their faith, their life, and their intellect, their prosperity, and their wealth. It is in line with the SDG, I think, because SDG also concerned about the prosperity, concerned about the people, and also planet. Then Sharia have wide benefit, wide objective to give the benefit for the people. And the basis of the Sharia is wisdom and welfare for the people in the world and also in the hereafter. And the welfare lies in the complete of justice. It is this important thing that we know that we try in Islam give the education for the people to concern about the others, to care to the other, to give something to the other. If we have wealth, we have more wealth, we have to share to the other through zakat. Zakat is the obligation of the Muslim, at least 2.5% to give to the others through the amil. Amil zakat is the person or the institution that set to have obligation to manage the zakat and infak fund. And then this is Sharia. The Sharia consists of Aqidah, fiqh, and akhlaq. And in Aqidah, we understand about the faith and belief, concerning the faith and belief in God. And fiqh try to explain about the practice and activities, and akhlaq, morality and ethics. When we go to the further elaboration of the fiqh, at least two components of the faith: ibadah, meant to God worship, concerning the practicalities of his worship to the God, and muamalah. Muamalah is man-to-man activity, how we behave to the others. When we have the transaction, not only to have the transaction with a Muslim only, but we can have transaction to the other. But we have to behave good. We have to behave good to the others. We have to understand. And in muamalat, we have economic activity, political activity, and also social activity. That's why in economic activity, we have at least two activities: commercial and charitable activity. Commercial means trading, banking, finance, investment is commercial activities. And the other, charitable, non-profit, we have another activity that relate to not only man-to-man activity, but ultimately have activity to the God. For let's say zakat, wakaf, and sedekah. It is the source of the Sharia, Quran, Sunnah, Ijma, and Qiyas. Quran is the main source of Islam, because it comprises of the words of Allah revealed to the Prophet of Muhammad, and it has universal, comprehensive, and fundamental message. And the second sources of Sharia is Sunnah. Sunnah is the action, saying, behavior, tacit approval by Prophet Muhammad under variety and circumstances in life. And then Ijma and Qiyas, the other sources of the Sharia, is depend on the opinion of Mujtahid, and also the prophet of the analogy of the Mujtahid. And then the Sharia compliance, we have some of the activities here, the activities that we have to understand, because demarcation between devotional acts, ibadah, and commercial matters, actually we have to understand what is obey and disobey for this education. And then the Islamic commercial code are free from the riba, interest or usury. And then gharar. Gharar means unclear contract. Gharar is unclear contract. In riba, we understand that interest is prohibited by Islam, because in riba or interest, in general what we call as interest, in interest we have unbalanced position, unbalanced position between both parties. One party is creditor, another party as a debtor. And gharar is unclear transaction or ambiguities. Sometimes we go to some of the transaction that not clear, so we have to try to set aside for this kind of the transaction. And another transaction is maisir, gambling. gambling is near to the speculation. Yeah, speculation. For let's say we go to the gambling situation. We give our money and we don't know we win or loss. That's why it is actually gambling situation. But we have to understand that this speculation when we have effort for let's say we set up of the business, it is different. In gambling situation, we have no information. Try to give our wealth to the other, and we don't know how is the result of the gambling. And then another transaction involving prohibited asset and commodities. This the elements not approved under Islam, yeah, for let's say riba, and then gharar, maisir, I have mentioned before, ihtikar, and kishi, and producing the trading in haram good and activity. Because in Islam, we have the information regarding some of the negative list of good and business activities. A part of riba, gharar, and maisir, Islam prohibit us from producing, financing, selling, processing, and deal with the following business activities. Yeah. For let's say entertainment, nightclub, casino, prostitution, yeah, is not allowed. Pornographic, weapon, alcohol, pork, tobacco, stockbroking, yeah, conventional financial services from maybe conventional bank, conventional insurance, and others. Other activities deemed non-permissible according to Sharia principle. It is also important to understand to all of the Muslim, and actually it's also good for the other people. Then we go to what is actually the maqasid of Sharia as the ethical value. Maqasid is a set of Islamic ethical value and moral that cover a different aspect of life to achieve the goal of the Sharia. Because Islamic entities are expected to be more attuned in achieving social good, yeah, than conventional entities. That's why we understand that when we know the Islamic bank, Islamic insurance, Islamic capital market, they have their own objective. Yeah? They have their own business model. They have to exclude the riba, gharar, maisir. They have to exclude all the thing, and also not dealing with the negative list of the product and service. For example, the Islamic bank cannot give financing, yeah, to the gambling and institution, yeah, to the alcoholic producer. They cannot give the finance. Why? Because they have objective to the better for the people. Yeah, because in Islam we think that tobacco, alcohol is not good for the better of the people. So the Islamic bank cannot give the financing to that business. And then Maqasid Sharia is a broader concept that goes beyond the transactional relationship of conventional institution. That's why, based on Ghazali, yeah, as the scholar in Islam, extended necessity into 5 essential elements, yeah, of the preservation of deen or religion, of life, yeah, akal intellectual, nasal progeny, and also mal wealth. It is the component of the maqasid of Sharia. This is a role of the maqasid Sharia is human well-being. Human well-being to be realized by ensuring the enrichment of the following 5 ingredients for every individual. So every individual, every Muslim have to understand that we have to give priority for the faith, yeah, for the intellectual, for the prosperity, for the wealth and itself. I think it's very relevant with the SDG, yeah, because the SDG also have the goal to have the people have a good wealth, good prosperity, and also save the planet, yeah, save the world. Yeah, that's why in Islamic business activity they have to concern about the issue of the how is the impact of the business to the environment. Is there any benefit for people from the existing of the business? Yeah, if no benefit for the existing of the business, and even give the harm to people. That's why maybe better we close the business, or the Islamic bank or the Islamic institution cannot give support for kind of the business. It is the pyramid of the maslahah, yeah, from the essential way, from the essential component, the complementary component, and embellishment component. We call as daruriyah, hajiyah, and tahsiniyah. For let's say when we discuss about the what is very essential to the people, the first is major prohibition. We have to know what is the major prohibition from the Islamic perspective. Yeah. And then the transparency also important. That's why when we have a good activity, when we have a good innovation, we can share to the others. We can share to the other. And even in Daruriyah, the Sharia component is important. That's why in every Islamic business entity, Islamic financial institution, they have to put the Sharia supervisory board. The Sharia supervisory board is the people that have a concern and they have the competent in Sharia. They have to monitor the business. That's why in corporate governance, in Islamic perspective, we have to have a new government structure. We have to put the Sharia supervisory board. And then another component of the maslahah is the complementary element. What else? What kind of the complementary component? For let's say takaful, hybrid contract. Hybrid contract is the combination of one or two or three contract into one model of the transaction. Yeah? The innovation of the product. Yeah? The information about the commission and fee. And then in tahsiniyat or embellishment, yeah, the information that important to share to the public for, let's say, the growth of product. For, let's say, what is the investment? What is the product of the mutual fund? Because we know that in mutual fund, we have several kinds of the investment. For, let's say, fixed investment, combination, or maybe hybrid mutual fund. And then the sustainability is also important. It is in line with in our topic that the sustainability is very important in current situation. When the company or the government have the regulation or the policy, they have to think about the sustainability. Because when we have the project, we have the program, if the program or the project are not have the longer benefit to the people, it's only for let's say they give program activity because of near to the general election or the president election, is no benefit for the people because it's only a very short objective. Then the other, the corporate social responsibility and service quality. It is the kind of the information that have to share to the people. And then it is the element of the integrated reporting. Yeah? When we see the idea of the integrated reporting actually is currently very popular in accounting area, in the reporting area. Well, let's say the first is the organizational overview and external environment, and then the government, and then the business model, risks and opportunities, strategy and resource allocation, performance, outlook, and also basis preparation and presentation. This is the 8 content element of integrated reporting framework. And in this session, I try to share you information how the Makosid Sharia try to integrate in this kind of the reporting. When we recall the previous slide, yeah, it is what is the essential, what is complementary, and also what is the embellishment component. I go to directly organizational overview and external environment. What is actually essential, yeah, to share through the report that share to the public for, let's say, in the essential information is the nature of the organization. They have to also share the mission and vision, culture, moral, and value, and the ownership and operating structure. It is very important. And then what is the complementary for, let's say, competitive environment, a factor influencing external environment, needs of stakeholders, the legislative and regulatory issue, and political situation. This is related to the external environment. And then embellishment, yeah, the embellishment was the other information that important to put in the integrated reporting. The economic condition, the market forces, the impact of technology changes, the demographic and social issue, environmental challenge. It is also important under the organization overview and external environment. And then when we see the governance component, yeah, what is the essential? The essential is government structure contribute to create the value, the characteristic of the organization, the strategic decision and organization culture. And what is the complementary component? The procedure for impact and monitoring, a reflection of organization culture, value, and ethic. And what is the embellishment? The promote, encourage innovation. It is the additional information that I think also important to share to the public. And then when we see the business model, in the business model, the company also has to share the information regarding how the main element of the organization, what is the basic element of the business model? Because maybe one business, another business, they have a certain business model, yeah, certain business model. Or let's say in trading and manufacturing, or maybe in a property company, they have certain business model. And how the market differentiation. And what is the other component? The adoption of business model, the approach of innovation, and maybe can also give the positive and negative result. It is the embellishment. It is important to give understanding to the society and also the people or the audience regarding what is the impact of the business model to the environment or the society. And then the risk and opportunity, We know that every business have a risk, yeah? Internal risk and also external risk. They have to share about the risk and also the opportunity. If there is opportunities for the people, yeah, to get something from the company, we have to share. I think it's also important. That's why in this component, we have to share about the risk that affect, yeah, the organization ability to create value. Maybe the source of the risk, yeah, as I mentioned before, internal or external. And then how the procedures, yeah, taken to address, yeah, the risk to which the organization is exposed. How the company can tackle the risk, yeah? Particularly the risk that have a bad impact to the people. They have to explain clearly about how to overcome to the risk. And then the strategy and resource allocation, yeah? It is also important to share. I skip this, the performance, yeah, the performance of the company. They have to share the quantitative indicator. I think it's still important when we know about the quantitative indicator. For, let's say, for the investor, for the creditor, and maybe for the employee also, they have to know about the performance of the company. What is the KPI, key performance indicator? What is the positive and negative effect? Yeah, what is the how they can compare to the previous period? Yeah, how is the prediction for the next period? What is the planning? I think it's also important to predict, to have a prediction of the performance. And also important is the organization respond to the stakeholder needs. Yeah, the stakeholder needs. Yeah, for employee, for the government, for the creditor, for the supplier. They have to know about the needs of the stakeholder that in line with the objective of the company. And then the outlook, yeah, the outlook of the organization. for let's say for the environment, yeah, for environment, and then the impact of the external environment, and also the disclosure, yeah. I skip, and it is the additional element of integrated reporting from Islamic perspective that also important. For let's say the Taruria, we have to the Sharia supervisory report. It is very important. Secondly, unlawful or haram transaction. We have to expose to the public. Yeah, what is the unlawful and haram transaction? That in not it is incident, yeah, like incident, not intention, yeah. And then zakat management, and then court policy fund, charitable social activity, and others information for maybe the environment care and community involvement. I think this is my presentation and the conclusion that we need the complete report of the business and also the government. That's why in the SDG era, we have to understand how the company or the government can treat the report to the people, can treat the report to the stakeholders. That's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Mr. Rifki, for your valuable insight. It was very well explained and comprehensive presentation. A little summary from the presentation of Prof. Rifki, we learn how integrating report from Islamic perspective provide relevant information to broader stakeholders that are not limited to the capital providers, but also to the Muslim Ummah and any other community. And ultimately, this is the form of responsibility to the God. Integrating reporting from Islamic perspective will also foster sustainability as well as eradicating poverty in order to achieve maslahah. So again, thank you so much, Prof. Rifki, for the presentation. We will directly jump into the Q&A session. So for everyone who has prepared question for both Professor James as well as Professor Rifki, you can raise your hand or type it into the chat box. We will in this Q&A session we will open three questions for both Professor Rifki and Professor James. Okay. Okay, let's see in the chat box. Yeah. Okay, so the first question is for Professor James from Muhammad Ulil Albab. The question is, what methodologies or framework are used to measure progress toward achieving the SDGs, and how reliable are these indicators in assessing real impact? So, Mr. James, do you want to answer it directly or we wait for the other questions?
Yeah. I think I can answer that. So thank you for
Okay.
the question. First and foremost, that's a continuing debate among scholars as to how impact should be measured in the context of sustainable development goals. Number one is because the goals are different in terms of context. So each country, each region would have a different context as to how the sustainable development goals would be initiated, and how these SDGs will actually be the efforts to achieve the sustainable development goals will be implemented and measured. So what I would suggest is for us to have a common measure of the success of sustainable development goals. And we can find it in the framework of the United Nations because they provide a quantitative approach to measuring the sustainable development impacts. That's one. Second would be to go on qualitative method to assess the effectiveness of our efforts towards achieving the sustainable development goals. Meaning to say, sorry if I have that bias against, rather, in favor of qualitative methods, because my background is on the social sciences. We firmly believe that at the end of the day, it's about meaning making. And making meaning out of the Sustainable Development Goals cannot dismiss the contribution of qualitative narratives about the success stories of communities moving towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. So if on the quantitative side, we can go on the UN reports, we can also go with qualitative methods being published by think tanks and independent organizations like International Alert and Asian Development Bank and other partners who could offer something to for us to appreciate about the achievements of countries, of sectors, and even communities in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. In terms of the reliability, of course, in research, we always say that it's a numbers game, so the quantitative approach will have higher reliability. But again, it's on the framework and how we design the research objectives so that we can make sense of the meaning that we can draft from the qualitative researches.
Okay, enough, Prof. James, for the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope that's answering Muhammad Oil Albab. So there is a second question again for Mr. James. Could you explain the weakness of digital strategy or maybe the digital transformation strategy? Yeah, time is yours, Professor.
You have answers from the Philippines. Yeah, so the questions are all for me. So the second is about explaining the weakness of digital strategy. Remember our lessons in SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Actually, when we talk about digital strategy, I wouldn't want to explain more of the weakness, but more of the opportunity for improving the weaknesses of the digital strategy. I have mentioned in my concluding slide that the challenges would be more on data privacy. Access definitely is the number one weakness or challenge of digital strategy, because we can prepare the best blueprint, the best program for digital transformation. But if we are saying, based on the Broadband Commission report, that there remains to be 30% of the entire global population who have no access to internet connection, everything will fail. So that is a major weakness that we need to address. But nevertheless, we're talking of 30% as the weakness. The 60% of the global population remains to be connected. So we can always level up, we can always concentrate, we can always grab the opportunity given by the 60% connected population to boost the digital strategy. And the third would be in connection with the discussions of my colleagues, both about blockchain and the other one on the accounting principles. The issue would be on transparency and accountability. Whenever we would like to come up with a good program about digital transformation, there's still a sector who would like to put evil minds or evil acts on digital transformation. And that will remain to be a threat to digital transformation. So I remember my discussion in one of my social science courses, and that is about the first principle of international law is sovereignty. Even though the goals, the Sustainable Development Goals came from the United Nations, it will not be successful if the countries will not have buy-in to it, because the United Nations have no mandate to enforce the efforts towards Sustainable Development Goals. So we need the states to implement the strategies. However, on another note, digital transformation has no citizenship. And what do I mean by that? If we are going to create people who are, how do we call it, digital natives, who are responsible and at the same time mature in the use of technology, we ourselves can have that policing mechanism against those people who are doing criminal activities, tainting our digital transformation programs. So it's about maturity. So again, in terms of weaknesses, number one would be access. Second would be the challenges posed by, yeah, for example, cybercrime, hacking, and things like that. So those are the challenges. But definitely, those weaknesses can be turned into opportunities if we implement our efforts collectively with the sectoral approach, multi-sectoral approach in achieving the SDGs.
Okay, thank you, Prof. James, for the comprehensive answer. I hope that enough for Prasetya. Okay, so since we're still waiting for the other question, maybe Prof. Rifki want to add the answer related with this question?
I think.
Or
Can you mention the question? Can you
yes.
mention question?
Yeah,
Sorry.
there are two questions actually. The last one answered by Mr. James is about the weaknesses of digital transformation.
Okay. Okay. For the digital transformation, I think the weaknesses is related to the people. I think the readiness of the people to adapt for the digital transformation. For let's say, currently we know that some of the small and medium enterprises are not very familiar for the digital transformation. Yeah. For let's say for the old people, I think, yeah, in quote, yeah, not all the small and medium enterprises are aware regarding the digital transformation. That's why I think is the responsibility not only for the government to always give understanding about how the digital transformation, and also I think the responsibility of the campus to give information and also maybe practices or exercise for the digital transformation. For let's say how to use the social media, how to use some of the software that relate, yeah, to the understanding to digital transformation. It is. I think campus is very responsible for that issue, because in campus maybe they can share some of the uh, activity, like currently we have the activity, and if it's shared to the society and also to share to the practitioner and small and medium enterprise, then they aware about the condition, the competition, then they can tackle the challenge, and also maybe they can adapt in this situation, I think. Thank you.
Move to the next question. This is for Prof. Rifki from Izati Karnawastia. Professor, could you please explain advantages of Makosid Syariah as ethical value?
Okay, thank you, Izati. I think a good question. When we understand for the market of Sharia, then we can have the priority for the betterment of the people. In Maqasid of Sharia, we are trained to understand the conception of the maslahah. What is the maslahah? The maslahah is the betterment of the people at large. Then when we are facing for the problem, when we are facing for the challenge, the dynamic situation in the world, then we can say like, yeah, what is the priority? Is the people priority, the environment priority, or actually is the individual priority? If individual priority, or let's say our policy, our strategy is give impact, yeah, give impact to the environment, also the strategy will give benefit for, let's say, the profit can give more profit for our company, but harm to the other people. So we have to exclude. Yeah, we have to exclude. We have to stop the strategy. This is actually the simple example why we have to understand the Makosid Sharia. Then we know the priority. When we see the conventional practices in the global or modern situation, sometimes some of the company, they have strategy to get profit, but they give a bad impact to the other people. Then I think it will impact to the sustainability of the country. For let's say, people will angry with the situation, and then they will give a bad impact to also the company. That's why, once again, when we understand the Maqasid Syariah, we go to the maslahah. Maslahah is the betterment of the people. Then we can select, we can select what is better to take the strategy, or we leave the strategy.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Ricky, for the answer. We still have one more question. This is from, I hope that's answering Izati. And I think this is the last question from Wijdan Fariski. I would like to ask Prof. Rifki, in the context of sustainable economic development, SDG number 8, how can Islamic finance promote economic inclusiveness and job creation?
Okay. Okay, thank you. It's done. It's my student in IUB in accounting. Okay, a good question, I think, for the how the SDG, how the Islamic finance can promote the economic inclusiveness and job creation. I think you know that the mode of transaction in Islamic finance is very so many model of the business can create in Islamic finance. We can create from, let's say, in Islamic finance, we can separate into at least two, commercial and also social finance. When we combine commercial and social finance, for let's say the zakat wakaf, we can have innovation, and then we can create a business from the source of the social finance, and the impact of the business from the social finance will back to the social finance. It is one of the example how they can make a job creation, I think, because when we only rely on the conventional, we only rely for the commercial, we know the business is not always going well. Sometimes they can get profit, get loss, and sometimes they stop the business because of the reasons of the condition of economic. When we try to combine the condition of the commercial and also Islamic social finance, we can have a new innovation that I think it could be more sustained, because you know the source of the social finance in quote is free, free from the what is the good people, from the have people. They can give the offer of the money to the social institution, and then in some situation we can use the money for the objective of the Sharia. Then we can accumulate, for let's say for wakaf, we can use for wakaf, and we can collaborate with commercial, and we create a new business. And I think it's more sustained rather than we rely on the commercial way. I think it is just the example. If you want to have more example, I think we can see in the class after lunch. We have a class after lunch.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Rifki, for the answer. And last, before we close, maybe Prof. James, you have further or additional explanation. Time is yours, Mr. James.
My colleague from Indonesia has comprehensively explained the economic inclusiveness and economic development on the Islamic side. I'm not an expert in Islamic banking and the Sharia law, so I cannot add anything more. And I would be happy to be invited to his class.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor James, as well as Professor Rifki Muhammad, for this Q&A session. Very good question, as also well explained. We are so happy to have both of you. And this question also closed this Q&A session, which end the seminar session. And again, please, all the participants, let's give a virtual applause to the speakers. Thank you so much for Professor James Ronald. We hope to see you again in the next amazing cooperation and occasion. Thank you so much, everyone. This is me, Naila. Thank you for the great opportunity. I will take the makeover back to the Master of Ceremony.
Thank you to our inspiring speaker and our great moderator. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your remarkable participation in our talk show webinar today. The thoughtful discussion and this review that have been shared have truly enriched our knowledge. Since it's already 11:30 in Jakarta time, therefore we will give you a 90 minutes to take short break. The break will start at 11:30 a.m. and end at 1 p.m. The next session will start on time, so make sure you return to the main room before the break end. Thank you for your attention and have a good break. Okay, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.